Okay, welcome back to the Gory.
Gaze.
Yes, we were going to say that together, but we have been having microphone issues for the last 20 minutes or so, and I don't even know if we're going to finish this episode at this point.
I mean, you know what? Third one's a charm.
This is probably the 15th time that we've attempted this particular episode, but we're going to give it a shot.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. This feels like the first episode all over again.
And if we sound like crap, we totally apologize.
And you know what? No, we don't.
Yeah, and we don't either.
We don't. You're
we do
listening.
And we don't.
Or you're not listening. You might not be listening, but hopefully you're listening.
Yeah, you guys, it's fucking cool. Halloween is the shit, and we all know it.
Spooky season has been a lot of fun, and we have spoken about some pretty fun movies so far this month, at least I think.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, okay. I thought I was alone there for a second.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be continued, but no, we have definitely been checking out some really good movies this month, and what we've already been talking about.
Yeah, outside of the movies that we've talked about, even, we saw It Lives Inside recently, and that was okay.
Yeah.
That was decent, and we saw, what else did we see? We saw Clown House.
We saw Clown House.
Saw that out on YouTube because it was out of print, and there was no other way of watching it on any streaming devices, and within like the first 5 minutes it felt really dirty, and then I did a little bit of research and found out that it was a film.
Yeah, it was kind of like weird.
Yeah,
So
it was one of those. And I don't even feel like we should be talking about it because it's one of those dirty movies.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been a long month. I can't believe it's already almost Halloween.
I know. It's close.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It's already
you're so
almost November, which means it's already almost Christmas. And I feel like I haven't even watched all the Halloween movies that I want to watch yet.
No.
No.
Yeah.
There's like thousands of Halloween movies that I watch not thousands, but there's a lot of Halloween movies that I watch on rotation every year. And this year, I think I watched a slew, but not the ones that I normally watch. Like, I didn't watch the Halloween marathon that I would normally subject myself to.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
That's a good one.
A good one?
That's a great one?
Really?
That's the best one?
I don't know if I would ever go that far. It definitely has one of the best posters in the series, but you might be one of the only people I've ever met in my life to say that it's one of the best in the series.
Yeah,
if that's what you're telling me.
I've caught myself walked into where you've been watching this movie over and over and over at some point.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think it's the best in the series. I just have it on as like background fodder while I'm folding laundry.
It's pretty good. This literally could be its own movie.
It is its own movie. What are you talking about?
Outside of the Halloween franchise.
No.
Yeah. Change the mask.
It is a different mask. It is its own mask. It's like a brand new mask.
It's true.
Well, every Halloween film has a different mask for the most part, but Halloween 5 is universally hated, so I think it's funny that you think that it's one of the best in the series.
You know, it's funny. If you pay attention to the podcast, I think I like all the movies that are unliked. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Well, no.
I like all the movies that are, unliked.
So you have obscure taste.
Yeah, I think so.
That's okay. That's okay.
I've agreed to a lot of disagreed movies.
I think that is safe to say. But I also am on that same boat because I have pretty strange, eclectic. Yes, eclectic is the word. I have eclectic taste. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've seen the movies that are in the movie cabinet.
Oh, yeah. You've literally wiped out Blockbuster.
When I worked at Blockbuster, back when I lived in Juneau, right before I quit, I made sure to take a lot of the horror movies that they had as the previously viewed DVDs. I took like Children of the Corn 4, 5, 6, and 7. And by took, I mean I paid for them. They were like $3. Right. No, I didn't give myself a
put them out of business
discount. They did close. It wasn't my fault.
There it is, Juneau.
Oh, please.
He just freaking said it out loud.
Juneau loved me.
Yeah, right.
I don't think the people at Blockbuster loved me very much. That was not a very glamorous job. You think that working at a video store or working at a movie theater is super exciting, or it's something that you like strive for when you're a kid. or like someone who loves movies. Like that's like the job you want really badly. But I finally got it when I lived in Alaska, and it was probably one of the worst fucking jobs I've ever had in my life.
You guys, our very own little Randy from Scream here.
But I probably would have been better off getting my throat slit in the back of the van. You know what? Now that I think about it, there were a lot of times that almost happened while I lived in Alaska. Ashley Lambert could attest to that.
For a non-rewinded VHS return?
What?
No?
What did you say?
You know, when you would get charged back then for returning a VHS with when it was not rewound.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think that by the time I worked there, that wasn't a thing anymore.
Okay.
Because DVDs were more of a thing. This was 2008.
Right. What do I know?
I think. What do you know? I do miss the days of VHS.
Yeah.
I still have a few VHS.
But do you have the VCR?
I do.
Good.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
What?
But I have one.
I'm pretty sure. No. Have you even tried it?
Yeah, but it doesn't have the appropriate cords.
Oh, so it's just the cords. It's not that the VCR doesn't work.
And I don't have a controller, so I need the cords and a controller.
A universal controller can fix that real quick.
But it wouldn't hook up to this television. This television is like way too high tech for a VCR that was released in like 1993.
Right, but then there's adapters as well.
Well, that's something I'll have to look into.
Yeah, hook it up.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
No, I would love for that to happen because I do have select VHS movies that I really do love.
I know, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, we're literally like watching vintage programs all day long. Can you imagine just popping in a VCR tape?
Yeah, I would love to watch Red Shoe Diaries 3, Another Woman's Lipstick.
All right, let me stop you right there.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I mean, I'm probably the only person in the world that has that VHS. But we are not here to talk about Red Shoe Diaries or VHS movies. We are here to talk about Halloween and, well, really, I guess, yeah, we are here to talk about Trick or Treat. More specifically, the movie from 2007?
Yes.
I think.
December of 2007.
December of 2007. Well, is that when it was released?
Yes, in the USA, I believe.
Is that right?
It has 2 release dates, but I think for the USA it was December 2007.
And then it came out Halloween like the next year, right?
Yeah, no, 2 years after 2009, October.
That's so peculiar. Yeah, this had a weird like distribution backstory. Like it was picked up by Warner Brothers and then it took forever for it to get distributed for some reason. And then it sat shelved for 2 years before it finally got re-released. And then it was given the home video treatment.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
It was really weird.
Direct to video.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it got a limited theatrical release, but I don't think it was for very long.
I mean, it was so worthy of theater. I don't see why it just didn't make it.
This is a movie that should have gotten a life on the silver screen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because this deserved an audience reaction.
And it had tons of marketing before it even came out, so I don't understand. They spend a lot of money.
You mentioned in our last episode that this was like a big thing at the Spirit Halloween store.
Yeah, when we did our podcast for Killer Clowns, I had mentioned the same thing because Spirit Halloween did the marketing for that movie as well. And as for Trick or Treat, they did it as well. I'm only saying this because I worked there for 5 years. That's why I know this so well.
Yeah, you did.
And yeah, it was marketed through that specific store or that brand of Halloween stores. You know, and when it came out, it just felt like it was just being promoted as a costume more than the movie. Sam's costume. Sam
is the little trick-or-treater with the sack over his head.
Yeah, the star.
We'll get into Sam. Did you celebrate Halloween as a kid? Was that like something that... You know, I think we talked about this in one of our previous episodes, or did we just talk about the Halloween movies
I think
that you watched?
Yeah, we talked about things that I watched and then little things like...
Okay, so did you
traditions.
Celebrate Halloween as a kid?
Yes.
Did you celebrate Halloween as a kid?
It was big in our family. Like, we loved celebrating Halloween. We would go trick-or-treating or also just set up little haunted houses around the, you know, in our backyard or in our front yard and just pass out candy, hang out with the neighbors, decorate like 3 or 4 houses were, you know, down the block.
So all your neighborhood friends and stuff would like join forces.
Yes.
That's really neat. Do you have a favorite costume that you can remember from your childhood?
I don't remember like having a favorite costume, honestly. Let me see. Because I would just make my own costumes. I would just throw anything together. I would never understand what it was, but it always made me feel good about myself. So I really never knew what I was. I would just throw on like chunky shoes, press on nails,
Oh shit.
a lot of like chains and all this bullshit.
Oh my gosh, you were making a statement even as like a young child.
I was making a statement. It wasn't even a costume anymore.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's really weird because I was the prince version of Aladdin, Prince Ali, for my 6th Halloween.
Yeah.
Then I ended up being Aladdin, Street Rat Aladdin for Halloween last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my full circle Aladdin moment.
How old were you when you dressed up as Prince Ali?
I was 6.
So you were 26 last year when you dressed as...
I was 37 last year.
No, you're 37 now.
Oh, I was 36 last year. So I was 36 last year.
See the numbers?
Yeah, so there was 30 years later, 30 Halloweens later, 30 moons later.
Yeah, you made your circle.
Yeah, I got my full circle moment. It was really nice. What's not fun is that we do not have our costumes yet. We've been racking our brains literally for 2 months, and every time we think we have an idea, we actually don't.
Yeah, or we have another idea.
But yeah, so what was I was going to mention something else Halloween related. I had asked you about stuff that you did when you were young. Did you have any traditions that you did when you were young as well?
No, we never did nothing like that, really.
Nothing, no crazy white people shit?
Well, no, that would actually take place at the Harvest Festival down the street at the Christian Community Church.
Oh.
So, yeah, we wouldn't know as kids because we'd be trick-or-treating, all dressed up in our little devilish... Oops, sorry, I hit the mic again. We would be trick-or-treating around the neighborhood dressed in our little devilish and goblin costumes, and we would come across the churches in our neighborhood, and they would all be promoting these harvest festivals, inviting us in. They would be bobbing for apples and doing all that, throwing arrows at the balloons filled with, what is that, like shaving cream or something? And like those type of games.
Games?
And they would be like games. There would be no candy being passed around, nobody in costumes. They're trying to invite us in. We're like, no, we're not going to do it.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like a game.
We're here for the devil.
That sounds... What? The devil?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's go freaking... What is it? Summon some demons?
Took a turn. Oh.
It's Halloween, man.
Oh, I mean, I guess that is Halloween.
The night when all the creepy things are supposed to stalk the earth. I mean, there's no telling what will dredge up, especially in this old place.
You got to follow the rules.
Oh, yeah. And there are rules. There are rules here. Oh, before we start talking about the movie, I did want to give a quick but also necessary shout out to my really, really wonderful, dear, close friend, Monica, who designed our logo. She has an Etsy shop called Skull Lily Boutique. Obviously, she does logo services like she did for us. She does custom merch. She does other horror merchandise. You can reach out to her at skulllilyboutique@gmail.com. I will attach that email address with this particular podcast episode. Or with this podcast episode, I'll tag her, is what I'm trying to say. As well as other people who have helped us so far. Our friend Ryan has also helped design other stuff that we are going to use for stuff that we think will fit for like buttons and stuff that we plan to make. I think that we're going to do like a merch type of thing, like eventually for like stickers, and we want to have like tumblers made, at least just for us, just to like walk around and promote ourselves with, just because we think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, tumblers and mugs are always fun.
Yeah, I meant to ask you as well, like, what has been the hardest part of this for you?
Honestly, finding the time to do it, which is picking the movie, watching the movie, researching the movie, then sitting down and talking about the movie. With somebody like me, I have a 40-hour job. I'm literally like gone all day long and just come home, and I literally have to sit down and do this before Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that finding time to, and I think that thinking that we have to make like a whole bunch of time for just one movie is one thing that we have made a hard thing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And I think it's just because we were just so brand new to it, because I feel like this episode today is so much quicker and faster. Like I think I can just watch the movie like once or twice and then I'm so good with it.
Yeah, and it's a short movie.
Yeah.
Also, that is another thing, is that it's so easy for me to get scattered. That's another hard thing about this, is that it's so easy for me to lose focus while I'm talking about this, because a lot of the time, we might have like little bullet points here or there about like what we want to talk about and what might come next. But most of the time we're just, talking off the top of our head. So it's really easy to lose what we are going to talk about next. So finding our way back to topic might be a little bit more complicated than not, but somehow we tend to get there. So thanks for sticking with us. But I wanted to point out a few more of my favorite Halloween films before we got all wrapped up into the plot.
Well, he's going off topic.
Yeah, I know. And some of those
pull it back.
Some of those Halloween movies would be Night of the Demons.
Woo!
And all the sequels. I love Night of the Demons 2.
Yeah.
I love Night of the Demons 3. I'm a huge Amelia Kincaid fan. I really, really love
The cover art's great for Night of the Demons.
Oh, the poster is awesome.
And she's hilarious.
Oh, it's so much fucking fun.
I actually want to go to her party.
Yeah, I would totally go to that party. I really enjoy, the Halloween that almost wasn't, which
that's
isn't
a good one.
Which isn't really a horror movie, but it's really nostalgic. I said I watch the Halloween films every year, and this year I've been watching Halloween 5, but I really love Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, which is another not so much appreciated entry in the franchise, but I really love it a lot. And then there's this. And then there is Trick or Treat, which is what we should finally start talking about. Trick or Treat, like Alex said, came out in 2007. Apparently it was released around Christmas, you said?
Yeah, December 2007. What a great release, right?
For a Halloween film.
Yeah.
That's intense. Tell us more about it.
Directed and written by Michael Dougherty. Music by Douglas Pipes. Starring Anna Paquin, which we all know from films like She's All That, Almost Famous, and the opening scene of Scream 4 alongside Kristen Bell. We have Brian Cox, Dylan Baker. He's done Anchorman and also Trains and Automobiles, which is kind of weird for him to have done this role because normally he's done like comedic type roles in other movies.
Oh, you should watch Happiness.
Yeah. Oh, Happiness was one of those. I actually had that on my list of movies to name as one, but I just wanted to put him in more like comedic. Yeah. Well, Happiness would have been a great one.
Have you seen Happiness?
No, I have not seen Happiness, but I've seen the trailers for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
Okay. Are you done with your...
No,
Happiness?
it's not a happy movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, good thing I didn't name it. And Quinn Lord, who plays the character of Sam, which, after doing some research, I found out that he's the kid, the peeping Tom, when the girls are getting dressed, putting on their costumes. And the budget was $12 million for this film. For Rotten Tomatoes, I have 82%. The audience score gave it 72%. For Metacritic, I have 57.
It's so wild that this movie didn't get a theatrical release.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah, and this is probably the first real horror movie that we're talking about. And I guess we could start at the beginning with a little bit of background on the film. Michael Dougherty based this film off of a animated short that he created back in 1996. That's where the character of Sam was originally, that's where he came from. And in that short, he walks down the sidewalk. There are missing persons reports for children, and
yeah, and then like that whole mysterious shadow man thing.
Yeah, there's like a shadow person following him into a dark alley, and then the shadow attacks him, and then
That's so weird, like, little short.
Yeah, we're led to think that Sam has been killed, but then Sam drags a big brown bag out of the alley, and we then realize that Sam has actually killed the shadow that has been following him. That is a special feature on the DVD for anybody who has access to it. So
Really creepy.
It's really cool. Sam is actually a really cool little villain.
And we find out later that he's made of pumpkin.
Yeah, like he's like a half skull, half pumpkin hybrid. So I went on the wikis and found like a little blurb that I wanted to read. And, you know, so it says Sam is the spirit of Halloween night, symbolizing both its innocent whimsy and underlying darkness. He appears in a different town every year on Halloween night, ensuring that the Halloween spirit is kept alive and punishing those who would ignore or defy the ancient traditions, often in a sadistic and ironic fashion tailored specifically to his targets. He's a little thug. And he has rules. Like, he comes with rules. He's like a gremlin. Like, there's 4 rules. He always gives, well, you always have to give candy to trick-or-treaters. You always have to wear a costume. You can never extinguish the flame of a jack-o'-lantern before midnight. And you always have to respect the dead.
Really?
Yeah. So
my rules are different than your rules.
Like, he sounds like a little blast to hang around.
Yeah, really.
Not the kind of kids that I went trick-or-treating with.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halloweens were different in Portland.
Yeah, that's what I learned about this film. It's literally respect the rules of Halloween.
Yeah. This is the one movie that captures the entire true atmosphere and essence of Halloween completely perfectly, in my opinion.
Honestly, like Trick or Treat starts and it already captures the essence of Halloween from beginning to end.
Yeah, I agree. I also wanted to point out, because somehow everything has like a Pet Sematary connection, that Michael Dougherty co-wrote Urban Legends Bloody Mary, which was a kind of off sequel to the Urban Legends movies. And that came out in 2006. That was directed by Mary Lambert, who directed both Pet Sematary and Pet Sematary 2. There is also a heavy influence later on in the film that was basically, there's a whole scene that was basically ripped out of the last leg of Pet Sematary, and we'll get to it. And I guess that this is a good little part to let everyone know that we are probably going to spoil this movie. Slash it up and bleed it out.
All of it.
So if you have not seen Trick or Treat, now is the time to go do it. You have a few days left before Halloween, and it's a good one to watch before the holiday gets you.
Yeah, you got to learn the rules.
You got to learn the rules, and we already laid them out for you. So, do you have anything to say before we get into the plot?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, just kidding.
Just wanted to add to your rules.
Oh, what did
you say? 4?
Okay.
So rule number 5, never head out alone at dark.
Okay.
Rule number 6, don't make out with a masked stranger.
Don't make out with a masked stranger.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that those are all very applicable, especially for this film.
Oh, rule number 7.
Oh, there's a 7th one.
Always check your candy.
Oh, so were there any rules that you were given by your parents?
Always check your candy.
Was that one of them?
Don't make out with strangers with masks.
Okay, come on.
No, I'm teasing. Just always check your candy.
Did your parents take you trick-or-treating when you were young?
No, we were a group of 4 bros and sisters growing up, so we kind of went all together with the neighbor kids.
Bros and sisters?
Bros and sisters.
That's funny. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we should just get into the plot, right?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Wait, there's another tradition. Always check your candy.
You have to get out of here! Weird voices! Lucas! Over here!
You gotta be kidding me.
I hate Halloween.
Trick or Treat goes like this. And I know this might be a lot to keep up with, as this is an anthology movie, and there are 4 stories here, so bear with us as we jump back and forth between all of them. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, that was so loud. I'm so sorry.
I loved it.
I'm ready.
Boo!
Boo!
We open with a safety precaution video that quickly changes to a pumpkin on a sidewalk in Warren Valley, Ohio. It's a beautiful fall Halloween in the neighborhood. A couple argue as they approach their insane Halloween-themed decorated lawn. The woman, Emma, played by Leslie Bibb, blows out the jack-o'-lantern, a big no-no, as something dreadful breathes and watches from across the street. Her boyfriend, Henry, played by Tomo Penniket, goes upstairs, and Emma begins to take down the Halloween ornaments, another big no-no, when she's attacked by the dreadful something that has been hiding beneath one of the ghost sheet decorations. She's brutally murdered in front of a group of trick-or-treaters who flee the scene. Henry, who has been upstairs passed out, wakes up later and finds Emma underneath one of the sheets, dismembered, a piece of Halloween candy shoved in her decapitated mouth, a truly grisly scene.
And mind you, Henry was not upstairs sleeping. He was upstairs watching porn.
I mean, yes, he was watching porn, but he had fallen asleep while he was watching porn. Yeah, I'm going to give it to him. He had fallen asleep. Yeah.
Nope.
If he had not fallen asleep, then he's truly a piece of shit because he was up there just jerking off while his girlfriend got fucking
Well, she's the
slaughtered.
Halloween Grinch, so she's an asshole.
But dude, what a fucking opening.
Oh, yeah. Well, have we seen this type of interwoven storytelling before? Like the zigzagging between short stories?
Yeah, it's
in
called
any other movie?
It's called an anthology.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
which other movie have you seen?
Have you never seen a movie like this before?
Not in horror, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, not in horror.
Oh, okay. Did you hear the noises that he was making as he stabbed her?
Yeah, his noises are kind of, they're freaky. They're like Teletubbies.
Yeah, oh my god. That's funny. I
They're
love
like
it.
Teletubby noises.
Oh my god. I love it. And I love the atmosphere of like the whole neighborhood. It's like a whole different universe of
It's
Halloween.
super cool. And did you notice like when it starts and like the camera's panning down from the moon that it's a blood orange moon?
No, I didn't notice that.
Pay attention to the moon next time you watch because you're going to watch it again, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
But
yeah.
watch the moon. It's literally a blood orange moon. And then the camera starts going down into the town.
Oh, that's wild.
It's super cool. I'm like, I wonder if that's why all that creepy shit was going on that night.
I did notice like the lighting in general though, and just like the way that everything else looks.
It's the coolest shot because it's like bloody orange. Like it looks like literally like blood in the moon.
Oh, I love it. What did you think of the music?
The music's really good.
I mean, even just in the opening, it reminded me of Scream.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like screamy type like tinges to the music. Douglas Pipes. He also does the music for Krampus, which is another Michael Dougherty movie. And, you know, we have managed to mention Ryan Coe in every one of our episodes. And Douglas Pipes also does the music for two of Ryan Coe's favorite trashy TV Lifetime movies, If There Be Thorns and Seeds of Yesterday, which are in the Flowers in the Attic line of movies.
Cool.
I don't know if you've ever seen those either.
No.
I have them. You should watch them.
Of
They're
course you do.
really, really bad. But yeah, I really also love the title opening sequence.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I know that the comic book type of shots like that are probably not for everybody, but I think the art.
I really like it like a lot. I like the way it went into that as soon as like what happens as soon as she dies, right? Like they show the mouth with the lollipop and then it goes into that comic book type of opening.
Yeah.
That's really cool to me. I love that.
Well, yeah, you know what you're in for, like right from the very beginning of this movie.
Well, it's just so Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yes. See, that's an anthology.
That's why it just always like, yeah, right?
That's very anthology. An American Horror Story is anthology. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, this one's really good. If you're speaking anthology and horror genre, like I think this one probably changed the game in horror, or maybe is it the first one? I just can't like I've never seen a horror movie just like this.
It just did it very well.
It's very well done. Like that whole you're just gonna see it. Like if you have not seen this movie, when you see it, you're gonna find new things every single time you see it. Because it took me the second time to realize how many people we see in the first minute.
Oh, yeah. It's literally like the first 30 seconds. You see every major character in the film.
And that's so cool. The introduction of our characters at the beginning of the film is just genius.
Oh yeah, it's just and I even told you because you had told me last week when we had talked about that we were going to be doing this movie. You had said that you had seen it, but you didn't pay any attention.
Yeah, because when it came out 2007, these were the type of movies that I was catching up on during the pandemic.
In 2007.
This came out 2007. I probably watched it 2021.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like when I was at home catching up on movies.
I was like, wait, there was a pandemic in 2007 that I missed? I understand what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody else did.
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
That was back when the swine flu came out,
the
right?
swine flu.
2007, 2008?
Yeah.
Whatever, different podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We cut to a costume store. A group of women, Lori, played by the second youngest Academy Award winner in history, Anna Paquin, Janet, played by Monica Delane, Maria, played by Rochelle Aites, and Laurie's older sister, Danielle, played by Lauren Lee Smith, are buying Disney princess outfits. Laurie is hesitant to dress up as Red Riding Hood, though Danielle is very persistent that they get on with their night, and she asks the cashier out as a date to the party they're going to.
Let me stop you real quick before you move on from this. Danielle is Cinderella. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Danielle de Barbarac.
Oh, no.
As Cinderella. Isn't that like so cool how the reference to Cinderella is that Danielle is like so cool?
Yeah, I know. I doubt that they did that on purpose.
No, I know.
That
but
is so funny.
When I saw her dressed as Cinderella, I was like, her name is Danielle? That's fucking crazy. That whole reference to de Barbarac. Yeah. Where did you put the gown, Danielle?
Oh, that's great. I'm here for the food.
That's what I was just like, oh my gosh, Danielle Cinderella. It's such a cool reference.
That's funny. We learn that Lori is a virgin, and the plan is for Lori to get laid tonight.
Yeah.
What
do they tell her?
What?
She says, "Be you," I forgot. They tell her something.
Oh, I don't know. This whole section just it turns into an American Pie movie.
Yeah,
it's so weird, but I'm totally fine with it. We watch Maria and Janet ask random guys to the party too, and first-time watchers are probably like, what the fuck? But we've already seen this, so we know where this is going, so it's not as shocking. But for first-time viewers, it's gotta be so off-putting. I did catch for the first time, though, and I've seen this movie a million times, but for the first time watching it this time, that the party location that they're going to is called Sheep's Meadow.
Uh-oh.
And I thought that was kind of fun, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Cut to the fat kid from Bad Santa, who is pumpkin bashing. His name is Charlie, and he is played by Brett Kelly. He goes up to a dim house to steal all the candy. It's one of those take one piece situations. But his principal, Steve Wilkins, played by character actor Dylan Baker, catches him. He sits with him and forces him to watch him carve a pumpkin, and he tells him urban legends of Halloween. Suddenly, Charlie begins to violently vomit all over the place as Steve watches, smiling.
That is so gross. It's like the scene from Stand By Me with the pie eating contest. I don't know if you ever watched that movie or seen that scene.
Oh, have I ever?
It's so gross. That's what it reminded me of.
It's one of my favorite growing up films.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Boom, bada, boom, bada. That scene that you're talking about. I mean, holy shit. Yeah, good comparison. It turns out Steve is the serial killing town psycho. He takes the kid into the backyard to bury him, but not before being hounded by trick-or-treaters, Chip, Sarah, and Macy.
Did you see that when Sam was walking down the steps, you can hear like a cat inside of a sack?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's a cat inside of his sack as he's going down the steps, like banging it down the steps.
No.
When he's leaving his house. Yes.
Oh my God, I had no idea. That's fucking atrocious.
I'll tell you, find something new in this movie every time you watch it.
And there is a lot of really dark humor, thrown all throughout this movie. And it's really, really hysterical.
Well, just Principal Wilkins alone, because I've seen him in other like comedic type roles. For him to be in this role, it's kind of like it's still funny.
Oh, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the casting is really spot on. And I have to mention that the cast in this movie is really, really something.
It's a chef's kiss.
Yeah, it really is. You don't get a cast like this to participate in a movie like this, especially for that time period, for 2006. But yeah, I really like I really like this whole scene. They have a really great interaction, Wilkins and this Charlie kid.
Mm-hmm.
And after he dies, Wilkins just puts a sucker in his mouth and just acts like this is like an every Tuesday type of thing.
He even offers him a what, Dr. Pepper or a root beer?
A root beer, yeah.
Like he gets him all sick and poisoned up and offers him a root beer.
It's insane. Okay, so while trying to bury Charlie, Steve is interrupted by both his neighbor's dog and his own child, Billy, played by Connor Levins. We get a fetch a finger moment, the kid not being really dead, and Steve having to, well, fix that, and the introduction of Brian Cox as Steve's neighbor, and it's fucking everything. And we have to be reminded that this is a little horror film, and like I said, the cast that we have is, well, this cast. Steve goes in to deal with Billy, and it turns out he has been anxious to carve... What?
A pumpkin.
A pumpkin?
A jack-o'-lantern?
No.
Who's been anxious to carve? Billy?
Yeah.
He wants to carve a pumpkin.
What does he want to carve?
The head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He wants to carve a smile on it.
I was like, wait, what? What does he need help with?
His eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eyes. He wants to carve the eyes. And then he says, Charlie Brown's an asshole.
But it's weird because this part was kind of confusing because when he's in the backyard burying who we think is Charlie, just a few moments later, he's in the basement and Charlie's head is on the plate and they're about to carve Charlie's head. So did they actually bury Charlie in the backyard?
Well, I don't know, because did he decapitate him after the neighbor was, snooping around? Or is this his wife?
Oh, that's another thing that I probably missed.
Yeah. It's either like, where's the wife?
Interesting.
Where's Mrs.
I wish
Wilkins?
Mommy was here.
Yeah,
oh,
see?
yes.
Oh, that's what he says. I wish Mommy was here, right?
Yeah,
Something
I didn't
like
catch
in
that.
reference. So I'm like, was that the wife?
Yeah, this is just a crazy moment. This whole entire section is just
Yeah, they need their own movie, Billy and Principal Wilkins.
Yeah.
I want to see Billy grow up and what happens.
really each part could be its own movie and it could
Yeah.
be very effective and quite good.
Mhm.
And it's just each part is just very deceiving.
Yeah,
And we
it's true.
think it's, we think something else is going to happen and then it doesn't, or it does and it's just super amplified. Like we think Steve is going to kill Billy, but alas, he's training him to be a baby murderer. It's,
Yeah, he's like teaching him how to be a serial killer.
yeah, it's nuts.
The family serial killer.
Yeah, like baby BTK.
Yeah.
So Chip Macy, who is played by Britt McKillop, and Sarah, played by Isabel DeLuce, continue trick-or-treating to collect more jack-o'-lanterns. Schrader, another friend, played by Jean-Luc Belledoux, joins them with more jack-o'-lanterns, but they need a few more, so they go to Rhonda's house, played by Sam Todd.
Yeah, and also they're collecting 8 pumpkins because they want to go pay respects.
Rhonda also has a yard full of perfectly carved jack-o'-lanterns that she has proudly carved herself, and she has an obvious crush on Schrader, which Macy does not like.
Macy is an asshole, dude.
Macy is an asshole.
And it's so ironic that she's dressed like an angel, little devil that she is.
Yeah, she's a fucking jerk, dude. All these kids are fucking assholes. What I think is the best part, though, is that all the actors here are pretty good.
Yeah, they really are.
Except the boy who plays Schrader, who I think is cringy as fuck. I don't know how they did not find any other actor in the world to play that part.
Like, can he be good for Disney?
Yeah. I think he was in a movie opposite Miley Cyrus back in 2012.
But I don't see him playing any other role than Schrader.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll ever advance from Schrader.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything in the last few years, but
Yeah.
he is probably the weakest link of this entire movie for me.
And he did mention, what was the kid's name? The one that Principal Wilkins kills?
Charlie?
Charlie? He did mention him. I don't know if you heard him when he goes like, yeah, I was going to get more pumpkins, but some asshole was smashing him up and down the street. And
Yeah,
that
no,
was Charlie.
I
in the
did
beginning of the
catch
movie.
that, yeah. That is one thing I did catch. I did watch the movie.
You were here.
So, at the fair, a cloaked, masked figure attacks a young woman in an alley. She tries to escape, begging onlookers for help, but no one does help her because, hello, Halloween. She runs into Emma and Henry here. The assailant kills her, basically chomping her to death with his fangs, and leaves her on the sidewalk. And this whole alley portion reminds me of the Helen Shivers chase scene from I Know What You Did Last Summer, while it reminds you, Alex.
It reminds me of Scream 2, Jada Pinkett Smith getting killed and nobody, or people just thinking that it's part of the show.
It's so weird because, yeah, like it reminds us both of two very iconic parts of two very iconic horror women being slashed up.
Slashix, if you will.
Slashix. Yeah. You hear that? That's what the noise I was talking about. Mm-hmm. I make this weird noise
I think
while
it happens
recording.
when a certain time passes by.
It's so annoying. So this is pretty brutal. I don't know if I can imagine anything worse. Just thinking that I have found help after I didn't think there was help, and then finding out that help is not going to help me.
I know, and they're just staring there like, is this part of the show? Just walking around you, like not even, acknowledging you. Yeah,
and the fact that they basically laugh in her face
You're
as
just dying.
He kills her.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
And we know who that is, the killer.
Yeah. And then he just rejoins the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the fucking worst thing I've ever seen in my life. From this point forward, every shot is Halloween gold.
Like it's just all the classics were brought out.
Yeah, like you get fields with pumpkins. You get really.
And you're right. Sorry, let me cut you off right there real quick because there's another scene with the kids that are pulling the pumpkins and they cross the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
There's so many Charlie Brown references in this movie.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, they did that specifically because it seems like the kids walking. I don't know if you ever watched The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown's Great Pumpkin.
I used to watch it a lot when I was a young child, but I don't.
That same scene happens.
I did not know that.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
That's so weird. I'll have to watch it again over the next couple of days before Halloween actually gets here. The kids venture off to a rock quarry. The kids venture off to a rock quarry. We learn that Rhonda knows everything there is to know about Halloween. Macy tells the group the story of the Halloween school bus massacre. Do you know the story?
Yes.
Tell it to us.
Yeah, so this town, the parents, they were tired of their kids and they paid the bus driver to drive these kids off a cliff, some abandoned rock quarry that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was very sad.
Yeah, like all these kids there was 8 of them, and they were burdening the parents because they were,
mentally challenged,
I guess, for lack of better words.
Mm-hmm.
And they paid the bus driver an undisclosed amount of money to take care of the problem.
I mean, it hits you right when you see the bus driver make the decision, because they show that, like they show him like kind of like look back at the kids, he looks and then he thinks about it and he's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, it's a really, really fucked up scene. And you have these kids wearing these old vintagey
really cool
masks.
They're like vintage mache masks.
They're all like chained to the seats, and he's passing candy out to them, and he's about to prep for them to be driven off the cliff. And then one of the kids gets loose and then ends up driving all of them over the cliff.
I mean, he tried to do the right thing, but he just
wants to go home. He just wants to get everybody off the bus and get them home, but he ends up killing everybody. But the bus driver escapes and is never seen again, supposedly. It's really sad. The music here is really good too, and the music when the bus driver walks down the aisle with the candy, and then again as the masks are floating up to the surface of the water, it's just fucking, it's amazing.
And the fact that bus might still be down there.
Yeah. Just the way that this whole scene is shot, like the weird autumn filter that the camera has throughout the entire scene, like throughout the entire flashback, is exactly how every Halloween movie should look.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
so good. So they're going to leave all the jack-o'-lanterns by the lake as offerings to the souls of the 8 people, or the 8 kids that died, like you had already said. And Macy and Schrader and Sarah go first, leaving Chip and Rhonda up above. So elsewhere, Lori tells her sisters that she wants to be on her own for the evening, and she will meet them at the party later. And she explores the parade on her own. I guess she's looking for a boyfriend or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, Lori, be yourself, but play hard to get.
Yeah, that's what they tell her. Yeah. These girls are weird. We're not sure why.
They're really
point
weird. And then they're like closing the door to the news van because they're going to hook up with the news van guys.
Yeah, like they're all just kind of slutty. They claim to be sisters. It's weird.
And they're playing a mockery on like princesses as well because they're all dressed like Disney princesses.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like play on words that they're throwing at each other. So again, it's one of those things where you have to pay attention to literally everything that's happening in front of you while this movie's playing. So Lori gets a call from Danielle, who is at the party. You know, Sheep's Meadow, haha. But Lori realizes she's being watched by the masked assailant murderer from earlier. Danielle tells her there's a guy waiting for her at the party. And then we bounce back to the rock quarry. The kid who plays Chip, I think he's just so cute. He was totally me as a 12-year-old. His name is Alberto Gassi. I don't think he did much after this. Anyway, Chip and Rhonda head down the shaft and can hear the other three scream as they are supposedly mutilated. Rhonda goes to investigate, Chip staying behind in the elevator. She reminds him to keep the jack-o'-lanterns lit for protection. Here's why. The lit veggies ward off the restless spirits on All Hallows Eve. Did you know that?
What was it?
That if you keep your jack-o'-lantern or like any sort of rooted vegetable like hollowed out and lit with a candle, it's supposed to keep away all the evil spirits.
No, I didn't know that.
That's the whole point of a jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I learned that today myself.
That is a really cool fact. Like, I had no idea.
There's a lot I didn't know about Halloween. For as much as I love it, there's so much I didn't know.
Well, because there's so many backgrounds to it. Like, Halloween comes from everywhere.
Yeah, it's wild. Rhonda finds the bus from the story Macy told us and is then attacked by water-dwelling creatures and panics. She then finds something eating Chip and his intestines. While running away, she falls down, hitting her head and breaking her glasses.
Oh my gosh, that really clenched my nuts.
Yeah, when she comes to, she realizes she's been tricked by the group, who have removed their masks, revealing it's been a trick the entire time. Now, I'm going to interrupt myself and just say that again, straight up, this whole part of the movie could have been the entire movie and I would have been totally happy. I would have loved it, the way that she finds the bus, her reaction, the way it's filmed. It's literally Halloween to the max, and I love the little girl who plays Rhonda. I think her performance is spectacular. What do you think?
She's amazing. I don't think she did anything after this, does she?
She doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Come on, Rhonda.
I don't know. Schrader wants to clean up the mess, upset that it's gone this far. He sends the others to pick up their belongings. Macy kicks the last lit jack-o'-lantern into the water, and of course, we find out that the ghosts of the wreckage do in fact exist. But when Schrader and the gang go to Rhonda for help, she has locked herself in the shaft, and she either doesn't believe them or doesn't give a fuck because she takes her motherfucking jack-o'-lanterns and goes right the fuck back up to the top as the others are ripped to pieces by the demon kids from yesteryear.
Dude, and that crunching of the bones being
it's
just
disgusting.
cracking that you can hear. They don't show it. Like, they don't show us that. The kids dying, they don't show us that, but we hear it. I'm totally hashtag Team Rhonda there.
Yeah, the sound design at this part is quite literally, it's horrifying.
Yeah, it's just the crunching and the twisting sound of the bones cracking to me.
Chip screaming, "Help me, please, and come back."
Yeah.
The noises that the little resurrected kids are making, like that. Ooh,
I know,
yes.
Like I said, Teletubbies.
Oh, God, it's so scary.
But then again, it's scary, but the only reason why she was spared, because why? She respects Halloween.
Yeah, she has respect for the dead.
She follows the rules. She carves the pumpkins. Keeps the traditions alive.
Yeah, she's a Mildred Hubble. Elsewhere, Lori is trying to make her way to the party, but is attacked by the masked assailant. My, what big eyes you have, he says to her. Anna Paquin's scream is so fucking good. I think this was before or right around True Blood. The body slams down into the middle of the party. The women crowd around, removing the red hood to find the masked assailant, bloodied, pleading for help. Out of the woods steps a more confident, sexier Lori, covered in blood too. Danielle unmasks the assailant and removes his fake teeth. We see that this is Stephen Wilkins. Yeah.
Principal Wilkins? At
the same time, we discover all the males that were in attendance at the party are now dead and that all the women are now shedding their clothes and skin and becoming werewolves.
Oh, she-wolves.
Lori mounts Mr. Wilkins, becoming a werewolf herself, and tears Wilkins to shreds. This has hands down the best use of Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams in anything I've ever seen to date.
Yeah, that is pretty cool the way they use it.
I've seen it in a few things. I saw it in like The House on the Haunted Hill, and
Yeah, you're right. That's where it was. I thought it was. Remember, I kept on telling you, was this from The Bride of Chucky? The Bride of Chucky? The Bride of Chucky? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
But it was from. What did you just mention?
The House on Haunted
The
Hill.
House on Haunted Hill.
And
That's
it's got
exactly
that
what's wrong.
Mandela effect. You think you've heard it in a lot of other places, but no, this is where it's done so appropriately and it just works so well.
Yeah, it actually goes good with everything. If you put that against Scream in the background, it'd be great. If you put it against The Craft, it'd be great. Like other movies like that, it would just be great in certain little sequences of the films.
But this, with this werewolf transformation happening in the background, it's just fucking, it's so good. And then I also wanted to just mention Danielle and Lori, the little first time talk, the nervous talk. Like the deeper you go, the funnier it is. And it's so true because
Big sister.
I really liked that. And also, this is one of the best transformation scenes for a werewolf I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like there's a few that are really good. Like I love the transformation scene in Ginger Snaps, and obviously the one from An American Werewolf in London.
She kills Principal Wilkins.
Oh yeah.
No more vampires.
And then
no more werewolves.
That's it. Like all the stories wrap up pretty quickly. Okay, so we go back to earlier in the movie because it tells us that's what's happening. The trick-or-treaters who did not save Emma from Sam have approached Steve's cranky old neighbor, Mr. Krieg, played by the incomparable Brian Cox, who has more Halloween spirit than he actually realizes for someone who despises the holiday, children, and ultimately himself. He lives alone, and on this particular night is burning photographs from a shoebox. He sits down to television with his dog and a candy bar, but a giggling nuisance starts to prank him, starting with eggs at his window. This is where most first-time viewers will connect the beginning of the movie to now, or should at least. Krieg goes back into his house, shuts the door, locks all 40 bolts, and then goes to find that all of his front porch has been littered with 100 or so perfectly carved jack-o'-lanterns. The dog is now barking upstairs. There is something or someone wandering around up there.
And again, just like the kids dying, they didn't show us that, but we can assume what happened to the dog because we hear it.
Oh, I didn't even know anything happened to the dog.
Yeah, we just kind of hear it because the dog runs upstairs.
Oh, but I thought that the dog was fine at the end.
Well, I don't think we saw him.
Oh, I thought that... Oh, yeah.
Like he runs upstairs. We hear Sam kind of like do his little Teletubby noise up there. And then the dog kind of just cries.
Oh, yeah.
And we never see him again.
I guess you're right. Yeah. And this is the part that I was talking about that was like basically ripped right out of Pet Sematary, like this whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get the Achilles tendon thing that happens between Sam and Krieg. That whole bedroom scene is what happens between Judd and Gage.
Yeah. Even, I think, don't they show the hand coming up too like that?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like this whole thing is a carbon copy, and I fucking love it. It's done so well. The next however many minutes that ensue are absolute chaos. Krieg trying to escape, tumbling down the stairs, taking bloody brutal hits, glass shards in the hands. Sam fucks him up.
He got the premium kill package, this poor guy.
Yeah, but Krieg gets his hits in too, and then rips the sack off of Sam's head to show us that he is that skull hybrid pumpkin thing that we talked about. What would you call Sam? What is he?
The son of Pumpkinhead.
It's weird because we were going to cover Pumpkinhead for spooky season, but we talked ourselves out of it for one reason or another. And then now here we are covering Pumpkinhead's son.
Yeah.
Weird. When the severed hand stabs him in the foot, I have not laughed that hard in a second. Like
that hand is so, like, they brought out all the classics for this, literally. Like, I saw all the monsters here. I saw all the schlassics. I saw everybody, like, attended this.
Yeah, like, this is, like, full camp, like, ham, but it's still actually kind of scary. And it gets really dark, but it's still funny.
And it's funny because Sam doesn't kill him.
No.
He still doesn't kill him. At the end, like, Mr. Creed actually learns a lesson and he opens the door and he starts giving kids candy now.
Well, but then we see what happens to Krieg
Yeah.
at the end anyway.
But it still wasn't Sam that killed him.
Yeah, no, like Sam was gonna let him live because Sam had bigger fish. Sam had bigger fish to fry. Sam always has bigger fish to fry, I think.
Yeah.
There's always someone who is causing more trouble for Sam.
Well, this is, and then the whole movie this is where it just like complete circle.
Because up until this point, you don't know what's going on. So you're like, why the fuck is this killer creature thinking going after Krieg or anybody really for that
Well, honestly,
matter?
like even when it ends, you're still confused because it's like it ends how it started. Krieg looks over to Billy. Billy looks over to Sam across the street, and Sam looks at Henry and that robot chick coming home from their Halloween night. And then the movie starts again with her getting killed by Sam.
Yeah, it wraps up very nicely.
And we see the girls, almost hit Rhonda when Rhonda's crossing the street with her little pumpkin and the blue and the red, little wagon.
Yeah, but you forgot to mention that the picture that
Yes,
that Krieg is burning
in the fireplace
is a picture of
the kids.
the kids that were on the bus. It implies that he was in fact the bus driver that disappeared. They actually come back at the end of the film and kill Mr. Krieg.
Yeah.
So they get their
finally kill
revenge on him. So yeah, they
Yeah, and when they're killing him, the little vampire kid, the one that drove the bus, you can hear like the gargle in his voice saying trick or treat. That's even scarier. Like that's just a ugly way to die. Wow.
So that's Trick or Treat. Was it what you remembered, Alex?
Not at all. And when I watch it again, it probably won't be what I remember again. Like every single time that I watch this film, I feel like I'll find something new.
Well, you mentioned a lot of things that I don't even remember, that I didn't even notice. So now I want to watch it again to see if I notice any of those things that you pointed out, because a lot of those things I'm like kind of aghast over.
Well, shit, I hope they happen and I wasn't just too high.
Yeah, maybe. That's funny.
Oh, damn.
On a scale from 1 to 5, what would you give this?
I would give it a 5.
I would totally give it a 5.
And I don't understand why this was not released in theaters. This is just crazy.
Yeah, that's
Blasphemy.
like one of our number one concerns of the evening is how this just went under the theatrical
And I think
radar.
that's why maybe people just saw that it was like short stories.
No, it was something else. There was something. It was a bigger issue. It had to do with money.
Well, $12
I'm
million
sure.
is not a lot of money, but I mean, the movie is so good and the actors are so great. Like, I don't believe.
Well, that's where all the money went,
Yeah.
was to all the actors.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
just,
sure.
And like
And
I
then
said,
they
the
had
marketing,
no money left.
you
All the
should've
money
seen-
went to the marketing and the
Yep.
actors. Our Halloween episode is going to be kept secret until the day it drops, so we are not going to reveal it until next Thursday. So there's that. Well, there we go, guys. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We have all of, most of them now. We have Instagram and Twitter, and you can follow us on those at The Gory Gaze. You can email us with suggestions or comments at thegorygaze@gmail.com. Alex, do you have anything to say before we close out?
Not really. Just guys, watch the movies with us and just have a conversation with us as well, or listen to our conversations. Whatever you guys want to do, just be part of us, and we'll be part of you.
Ew.
What? Part of your world, girl. I want to be where the creatures are.
Where the preachers are.
The creatures, you fool.
Oh my god, he almost took us to church, y'all.
It's 10:30. I've been awake since 5 o'clock this morning.
Oh my
so
god.
I need to
On
go
that
to sleep.
note, bye.
Happy Halloween. Bye. We love you.
We love you. Oh, we do? Okay, yeah.
We do.
We do. Okay, bye.
Bye.